the Tzemach Tzedek, he was involved in the 1800s, in the early part of 1830, 1840, the reform movement, Haskalah, came into Russia from Germany, and they started to make a lot of trouble with the Russian government, the educational department, that to force all the religious children of the religious families to go to public schools, and they shouldn't have the privilege to just to learn Torah. No such a thing. You have to go through the system, to the regular system, educational system of the Russian government.
Communist.
It was before communism. The Tsar.
No. Oh yeah, it was before.
But that meant that you're changing the whole system of teaching Torah, which means that 20 years later or 15 years later, when these children will grow up, they'll be brainwashed how the Russian people, the regular population, the Gentiles, how they think. Because it becomes secular. You take away the holiness, you take away, maybe even if you teach a little bit Torah, but you teach Torah according to their view of Torah. Who's they? The scholars of the Reform movement that came from Germany and influenced the Russian government, the educational department, how to teach Torah, which basically is taking out the Kedusha, the holiness of the Torah. So what are you left with? Torah is a story. The Chumash is a story. God forbid.
Somebody wrote it.
Yes, and first of all, someone wrote it, right? It's not written by God, because once you take God out of the process, then it's not holy anymore. And a person wrote it. Who exactly is the person? Moses wrote it. Other rabbis, other scholars also added to it, modified it, changed it. So then you don't have to feel obligated to follow the mitzvahs of the Torah. If the Torah is not divine, God forbid, if it's not written by Hashem, then you can do whatever you want. What did the Reform movement contribute to the Jewish people? A lot of assimilation. That's where it goes. It starts with changing the Torah, and it ends up that there's no more divisions. Why? Everyone's good. Everyone is good. Everyone's welcome. Everyone's should be together, and let's have a good party.
We're all human beings.
Yeah, the truth is, we do want to get along with everyone, and we like that people are friendly and work together. But the Master of the universe, who is Hashem Yisbarach, Hashem Almighty God, gave us the Torah, and He chose and He decided that Jewish people cannot assimilate, cannot marry out of the faith. If a guy wants to become a Jew, there's a way to do it. So there is a proper way, a correct way. It's not that we are totally racist, God forbid. We don't want to welcome anyone. No. The Torah says, "V'ahavtem es hager." You should love the ger tzedek. You should love him and help him. And many times it's repeated. It has to be done in a normal, proper, correct way, that within the parameters of Torah. Anyway, so the Tzemach Tzedek, this holy Rabbi, who's the third Rebbe of Lubavitch, his name was Menachem Mendel, that was his name. He went to the capital, which was St. Petersburg, and he was fighting the Reform movement, the representatives, the people who came from Germany, who tried to get the ear and was poisoning the leaders in Russia to change the educational system. And he said, no, we're not going to change. We are religious, observant Jews. For thousands of years, this is the system, how we learn Torah. And no one's going to tell us how to change. No one's going to tell us that we must change. But Russia It's not the United States of America. Even the United States, there's rules and laws and regulations. But it was a big, big fight, and they put him in house arrest. And even at one time, the Tsar himself got very angry at him and said that he's that's it. He's fed up with him, and he issued a ruling, a decree that he should be executed. And it was the only time in the Tsar's history that he changed his mind. The Tzedek, the Tzemach Tzedek, the Rabbi went to daven mincha, and he brought his tachrichin, his shrouds, with him from Lubavitch. He knew that it could happen any day. And after he davened mincha, the Tsar changed his mind. He said, "Call him back. I want to see this holy man." Anyway, so the Tzemach Tzedek, the Menachem Mendel of the third Lubavitcher Rebbe said, what was the schus? One of the things he said that he felt that Hashem saved his life fighting the Russian government, fighting against this change, and he won. He was successful. Was the fact that he spent 32,000 hours. 32,000 hours over a period of 20 years or 30 years, that he toiled, he labored in the Maimorim, in the teachings of his grandfather of the Balatanya, of Chasidus, and he was able to put it all together and organize it, and he published the two Svarim, Torah Oir and Lakuti Torah, and these teachings, these Maimorim, these Hasidic discourses we learn till today, and this is one of the schusim, one of the merits that he had, that he for every day he had a shir kavua, a set time that he would learn the Maimorim, the teachings of his grandfather, the Alter Rebbe, and he also spent again 32,000 hours. I don't know how much that calculates to, if you want to divide it into a week or a month, over how many years, but it's an enormous amount of time, because you have to understand also that his mind was probably 1,000 times faster than an average person. So because he writes in Chassidus, it says that if you give tzedakah and you have a special bracha from Hashem, nasa 4 years. Nasa meichav v'zakei liba, if nasa meichav liba zakim elef hamkacha. Hashem will give you a blessing that your mind will be more refined and more advanced, 1,000 times more than the average person. And the Rabbi many times said that this means literally, it's not an exaggeration. Okay, so that's one thing. What are the other three things? It doesn't say here. I'm sure we could find out more next time. We'll try to work on what are the other two things that it says. Maybe the Basha. Where is the Basha? Okay. Today's Hayom Yom, it says, the Rebbe Marash says that you find sometimes in the Gemara that the Talmud discusses that if certain situations of people, even women who are not learned and not who didn't go through the learning of schooling at those days, the times way back in 2,000 years ago, then the women stayed home and they were housewives. Whatever they knew was from their mother, from their grandmother, or from their aunt, or from their father or grandfather. That's all. They didn't have schooling for that. And yet, the Gemara and the Mishnah discusses what happens if a woman finds herself in a certain situation. How is she going to taina? How is she going to respond to if she's brought in front of the Bezdin, in front of the Sanhedrin, in front of the Jewish court, supreme? How is she going to know what to say if her mind is so primitive? The answer is that when a thing is negeya, when something is in mamish important to you, that your life depends on it, or your whole, the next part of your life, how you're going to continue your life. if it's so important to you, it's so critical to you, Hashem puts into your head, to your brain, to your intellect, the correct answer, even if you're not learned and you're not educated and you never went to a school, you'll have a genius idea will come to you. That the rabbis discuss what this lady will answer in Bezdin. That's what it says. The Kesher Aames Hu, the Kesher Inyan Negeya, Hinegam Chalushi Adas Mamtsiim Sichli Mamukim. Even people who are simple people have the potential to come to great levels of intellect in Torah and in being smart, like they say, street smart. You'd be surprised. Why? Because when something is Nageya. You also see it today. There's many people who they didn't graduate college, they didn't even finish high school, and they come up with amazing ideas, and they become wealthy and successful in business and such things. And other people who went for years, they're toiling and laboring and learning in universities. They can't figure it out. How do they come up with this idea? Hashem gives every person the potential. The Basha, you know, it says over here that the Tzedek said there's 3 things that he did, that he was matzliach. It says here only one of the 3 things. Where can we find the other 2? We have to figure it out. Okay, so once again, this shows us that the importance of believing in the potential of every person. Every person, no matter who they are, there's something unique, something special that Hashem has given this person, a special mission that only they could accomplish in this world. And you find just one example of that. Fingerprints. Every single one of us, our fingerprints, is basically everyone has the same type of fingers, but yet they're all different. The Gemara says, "Ein de'yaseyim shavos, ein partzufeim shavos." People don't think alike. People don't speak alike. Everyone's tone is a little bit different. Don't look alike. So how is it? And then the Gemara doesn't talk about fingerprints, but it's a fact. How could you create 1 billion people and everyone should have different fingerprints? I don't know if every single person, there's no duplicates, but for the most part there isn't. Am I right? No. Same finger. How many times can you make this different? Where's that come from?
There are millions of cells that separate. Each one Hashem is in control of. So he knows it goes left, it goes right, it goes back, forward, whatever.
And he has the chip. You see, everyone is carrying Hashem's chip. He knows where you are, what you're thinking, what you're doing, what you're gonna do, where you're heading, what's your potential. All you have to do is be humble and surrender to Hashem. Say, Hashem, you put me here for this amount of time in this world, and obviously you want I should do what you want, what you need I should accomplish, and I'm surrendering to you. And the moment you say that, you give yourself over to Hashem completely, entirely, then Hashem will carry you and take you to places where he didn't even know you could reach. That's what it's basically saying in the Hayom Yom. Especially now, before Rosh Hashanah, each one of us should make a cheshbon hanefesh, should make a soul accounting, if we have accomplished enough, or we can do more. And the Rabbi Shalom will help us as we ask Hashem to give us the strength to accomplish more, to do more mitzvahs, to do more masim tovim. We will definitely have the bracha of Atzlach.
Amen.
Why do we even help them?